Hello and welcome to today's Confessions of a Global Changemaker show. I have a very special guest lined up for you today. We have the laughter liberator, Brigitte Keane, joining us today, all the way from North Carolina. Very excited to have Brigitte on today's show. But before we bring Brigitte on, because she's in the middle of delivering a laughter-thon right now as we speak. I mean, isn't there no better time than now to bring laughter into our lives? So she's set up a 21-day laughter-thon challenge that she's running right now. So Brigitte is hosting that right now as we speak, and she's going to come and join us in a little bit. But before she does, I don't know what you've been reading while we've been given this amazing period of isolation. Have you been reading any books? If so, what books have you been reading? Have you got a favorite book? One of the books that I'm reading right now is Brené Brown, Daring Greatly. Have you read that book? Have you read this before? Because I'm going through this now, and there were some things that I read in here that I thought, while we wait for Brigitte to come on, that we'd go through some of the things in here. So on page 28, she's talking about some of the things that that disempower us, that stop us from leading in the way that we could be. And if you're not leading, then you're losing, because somebody else is leading those people if you're not leading them. And so there's a lot of people out there right now that need you, that need your message, that need your heart in their lives. And some of the things that could be stopping you might be some of the things that are in this book. So while we wait for Brigitte, I just wanted to read you some of these things out. So one of the things that she lists on page 28, she says this: one way to think about the three components of scarcity and how they influence culture is to reflect upon the following questions. Now, scarcity is an enormous thing that a lot of people are going through right now. Yeah. Hi, Carl. Yes. Boom. And so she says, as you're reading the questions, it's helpful to keep in mind any culture or social system that you're a part of, whether your classroom, your family, your community, or maybe your work team, depending on what they are. It could be any one of those or something else. But I really would love to know what you're reading right now, because I'm going to finish this book pretty quickly, and then I need to know what else to read. So what are your favorite books that we could be all like sharing between each other once we've read them? So she says, hi, Lubna. So she says, the first one, shame. Is fear of ridicule and belittling used to manage people and or to keep people in line? Is self-worth tied to achievement, productivity, or compliance? Are blaming and finger-pointing the norm? Are put-downs and name-calling rampant? What about favoritism? Is perfectionism an issue? Oh, you're not ready, you're too busy. Do you know, like, everyone's saying, like, right now, all I'm hearing is, I'm busier than I've ever been. In a time where we've been given like a 3-month break from the world, actually, like, everybody I'm speaking to right now is busier than they've ever been before. It's hilarious. So isn't that interesting when she talks about that? Now let's have a look at how that might be showing up right now. You know, I'm really, for somebody who's so on social media and uses social media all the time, I have to say I'm struggling with social media right now. I don't know if you're feeling the same way, but when I log on to Facebook, it's corona this, corona that, how to avoid corona, how to get over corona, how to deal with corona, blah, 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 blah. It's like, can we just like lose that word from our language? It's like a swear word in my house now, right? I don't even want to know, you know, I want to be focused on the solution, not the problem. And so, you know, like, looking on social media right now, I'm really struggling with that. How are you feeling about it? It's like in groups that I'm a part of, they're talking about it all the time. In Brand Builders Club, no one's talking about corona, and I haven't set it up that way. Like, very few people are even mentioning the C word. You know, everyone's just focused on solutions and building their brands. Yeah, C-bomb. You know, and just making sure that they're reaching more lives than ever before in a more positive way. So we're, you know, I think if you look right now, you know, there's ridicule and belittling. I mean, that was definitely something that we were seeing a lot of in the last couple of weeks. There was a lot of that happening. People were panic buying and then being belittled for it. you know, and there's all kinds of stuff that's going on right now. But you know, there's a scarcity mindset, and when that starts to creep in, it can have massive negative ripples. We talk about one drop. I don't know if you can see. Did you see my lovely one drop painting my daughter painted for me? Yeah, isn't that amazing? I found a place for it. Since we've moved onto the boat, it's been sitting there, and I was like, where can I put that? And it turns out there is perfect. so yeah. The book that is on my list to finish is Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. Well, I haven't read that yet, Lubna. That's a good one. Lubna, whatever you give your attention to grows, and the last thing I want to grow is, yeah, the C word. I'm not even going to talk about the C word. Right, so let's move on. Number 2, comparison. Healthy competition can be beneficial, but is there constant overt or covert comparing and ranking? So are you at any point feeling the compare and despair? Are you looking at other people? Are you looking at your products? I hear this all the time, right? Are you looking at what you're doing, and you look out, you see loads of people on social media already talking about it or already doing it, and you think, oh, am I too late to the party? Is that something that's going through your mind right now? Because seriously, when you build your personal brand, there is no comparison to that. People can compare a product. People can compare a service. They certainly can compare price, right? They can certainly compare those things. You become a commodity as soon as you start competing on price, and your personal brand will suffer, and it will suffer for a long time if you get into price wars. But when it comes to the compare and despair, I'm finding that that's totally paralyzing, and there's a lot of paralyzation going on for people that are thinking, oh no, but there's already somebody out there doing it, or there's already hundreds or thousands of people out there doing it. But it doesn't matter. You see, this one drop here, if you build your brand around the ripple effect and your one drop, what do you stand for? What are you gonna leave as a legacy in every moment? Remember, you just have to open the door for somebody, and that's a legacy. Probably not going to do too much of that right now, but you could smile at somebody. You could smile at somebody. You never know what their day has been like. That's why Brigitte has such an amazing place in society right now as the laughter liberator. I can't wait for it to come on, because it just makes such a difference if you can get some laughter into your life. Carl, will everyone stop using the C word? I'm so with you, Carl. I'm so with you. So they say, has creativity been suffocated? Are people held to one narrow standard rather than acknowledged for their unique gifts and contributions? Is there an ideal way of being, or one form of talent that is used as measurement of everyone else's worth? When you create a product, or when you're branding, when you're positioning yourself, I would suggest that you don't look too much at the competition. I remember when I first launched How to Build a Brand, when I did the searches, there were 437 million people showing up for the term How to Build a Brand. It would have been really easy for me to look at that and say, yeah, fuck that. There's absolutely no point in me even trying to compete with that, because how am I going to compete with that? You know, there's already 437 million people that are showing up, or 437 million pages that are showing up for that keyword term. But, hi Pete, yes, you are showing up. You are for sure. The key thing was the domain name was available. So I claimed the domain name. I set a strategy in place, and over 12 weeks, I just created heartbeats. I committed to being the drop for as many people as I could be. And I showed up, and I was that drop each and every single day for 12 weeks. Within 12 weeks, from the knowledge that I built up from me, I mean, that was before we had live stream like we have, for me to be able to talk to you right now live. I used to have to create videos and post them and tag people into them. That was the way that you did it back then. And even that was an adaptation from, you know, when I'd launched big brands before. When we launched GHD, Good Hair Days, back in, gosh, I think that was 2001. You know, we did the branding for that, and we really positioned them as the leaders in their market. Now, GHD is probably a good example of this, because there were people that were already positioned in the market. There were a lot of hair straighteners that were already out on the marketplace, and they were retailing about £15.99, between £15 and £20. And so lots of people were already using straighteners. And then Martin Penny, who was the founder of GHD, comes into our office and he says, you know, I've found this amazing ceramic hair straightening product. I want to bring it to the UK. I do want it to go global. But, you know, I want to retail these at like £100 or something, right? And so we were going onto the market 5 times the price. In fact, I think we sold them for £115. So they were nearly 6 times the price of the average pair of hair straighteners. So how do you go into an already saturated market and really claim ownership of your brand and your identity? And the only way to do that was to make them really exclusive. So we made them exclusive just to hair salons at first. And we knew that if consumers were to experience the product, they would also want them. So we created an enormous amount of demand within the hair salons. They couldn't get them any other way. So we were then able to do a reselling strategy through then all of those hair salons, which meant that we already had thousands of customers that were ready to buy, right? And that's the thing. It's about how can you create a brand where you position yourself at an exclusive level at which people can only get hold of you a certain way. I'd just like you to get your noodle around that one, you know, because there will be a strategy where you can do that. You know, for example, at the moment, I've just been talking to a lot of influencers about the one-drop pendants. I've been talking to a lot of influencers around that. One influencer I spoke to within the last 2 days said they've got, I think their list is something like 227,000 people on their list. And she said, I think that my list are going to love One Drop. I need to get One Drop out to them. How can I become a reseller of One Drop? And of course, my stomach, I go into these things that like compare and despair. I was like, oh, fuck, like, you know, well, not necessarily compare and despair, but the whole shit, like, you know, if I have 200,000 people that all of a sudden want to buy a One Drop, there's got to be some kind of exclusivity to that. So, you know, how do you make the One Drop exclusive? Well, you only get you only sell it through certain networks, and there's things that you can do that will enable you to structure your programs, your courses, your products, so that people can only get them a certain way. I'm awesome. Thank you so much. It just says Facebook user, though. I would love to say hello to you personally. I'm not quite sure who you are. So please let me know who you are in the comments so I can say hi. If you don't click on the link that goes out with this video, then it just shows you up as Facebook user. It doesn't tell me who you actually are. So I just want you to really think about that as to, you know, how could you be doing that in a way that, you know, not for all of your products necessarily, but I bet money on it that you've got something that you could sell, a product or a service that you could sell, and it only sells through certain networks, which would make your product exclusive, that nobody else could get hold of this thing. The only way they can get hold of it is by, you know, shopping here or going there or being part of that particular network. Isn't that interesting, thinking about that? Lubna, would you be able to, start your own party? What I would really appreciate if you could do is Yota. Hello, darling. Gosh, I haven't seen your face for a long time. It's lovely to see you here. Lubna, would you be able to give Brigitte a prod, please, and find out where she is? Because I think she was meant to be tuning in at about 5:05, and it's gone past that right now. So yeah, if you could give her a nudge. I have sent her the link and everything. She's got it. Thank you, darling. So let's get back to comparison. So healthy competition can be beneficial, but is there a constant over or covert comparing and ranking? Is creativity being suffocated? Because it tends to do that, doesn't it? If you're in compare and despair mode, like how can you be creative? You just get into fear. And of course, we've got 2 amazing experts on fear, Carl Smith and Pete Cohen, on the call right now, who they could tell you all about fear and how to get past that fear. So she says, are people held to one narrow standard rather than acknowledged for their unique gifts and contributions? Is there an ideal way of being or one form of talent that is used as measurement of everyone else's worth? So again, you know, when you think about looking at your competition, you could end up pricing yourself based on what all your competitors are charging. Well, the best way to avoid being a commodity is to become really exclusive, we've just been talking about, but also to bundle. So if somebody looks up your product and service, and say they're looking at you and somebody else, usually people look at maybe 2 or 3. Thank you. Thank you, Yota. Usually they'll look at 2 or 3 suppliers if they're really in the market to buy something. They want it now. They're in that mood. They've got their credit card. They just want to get shit done. They want to buy from the person that they trust the most. Well, if they're looking for something and the other 2 people, it's just standard, they're just selling the same thing, whereas you're selling that thing, but also as a part of the bundle, they also get this and this and this. Now, those things could be something that's digital that don't cost you anything to deliver, but all of a sudden you've just created a bundle that's more valuable. An example of that would be maybe they're looking for a product and 3 of you sell that product, but you're the only person that also gives a workbook with the product and the audio as well. Not just the digital course, for example. They're going to come to you because now they've got 3 different ways of being able to learn rather than just the one way that everybody else is giving. So if you're selling a program or a course or something, that's definitely a way of being able to hook them in. I always say, and for those of you that were at the Brand Builders Members Day a few weeks ago, I always encourage you to think about what are the first 3 to 5 actions that your ideal customer is going to take once they've bought that thing from you, once they've made that purchase. Because it's a way of being able to, thank you, Danny, it's a way of being able to really crack the sale. If somebody's, again, like if they're looking at you and they're looking at these other 2 or 3 people and they're on your sales page and they're in buying mode, and they look at you and they see that there's a customer journey. They can see themselves in that journey. They can feel themselves in that journey. They understand the steps that they're going to take. They know that as soon as they make that payment, they're automatically going to receive this. They're going to get access to this, and they're going to receive this. On the other 2, they're just buying a product. So now you've turned you into an experience, and the more experiential and in engaging, in fact, the more experiential you make your branding, the more engaging it will be. And you already know that the money is not in the list. The money is in the relationship that you have with your list. So it makes an enormous difference to have that engagement. So let's move on to the 3rd thing. And Brené Brown, she says, disengagement. Are people afraid to take risks or try new things? Wonder what that was coming in on the screen now. Then it's the book. It's been one of those days. Is it easier to stay quiet than to share stories, experiences, and ideas? I guess, you could totally relate this to going live. Is it easier to hold those stories and experiences back and not be vulnerable and not share that part of yourself than it is to actually hit that live button when it goes live? It does open up these other things, comparison and the fear of ridicule. Does it feel as if no one is really paying attention or listening? Is everyone struggling to be seen or heard? Well, I think there's some really interesting points there, isn't it? That fear of listening. I remember when I first started going live and, and you see that there's only a few numbers that are looking, and it can be quite easy to think, there's only 8 people looking, or there's only 1 person, or sometimes you might go live and there's no one that's live. And, and you're live and you're still talking. Like Pete, I think you experienced this last week when you went live and you did a whole session and then realized the thing hadn't recorded or something, and so you had to do the whole thing again. Well, I've said it before, and this isn't mine. This is something that I heard a friend of mine, Simon, say. He said, that you only ever know about 1% of the impact you're actually making. You only know of about 1% of the impact you're actually making. I remember sitting next to a friend of mine. If you influence 1 person, it works. Yeah, I like that. I like that so much, Carl. I'm going to pop that on the screen right now. Thank you. Make yourself a group for yourself and go live in it. Yeah, that's a really good idea. So I remember I went to an event. So I'm sat at this event. I think it was a friend of mine, Simon Colson, was running an event. And I go into this event and I sit down next to this man. I was going to say a guy, but his name is actually Guy. I sit next to a guy called Guy. And I've known him for a long time. And You know, I just hadn't seen him for a very long time. But I sit down, and you know, I'm focused on Simon at the front of the stage, and then Guy leans over and he says, "That video you did on peer groups and letting go of the people in your life, brave." And then he moves back and just carries on watching Simon. And I thought, video on peer groups? You didn't comment on that. You didn't like on that. Like, I know who likes and comments on my videos, right? I become really good friends with the people that comment and like and share my stuff, right? So I'm thinking, I've known you for years. I would have known if I'd have seen you. And after Simon came off stage, and I said, "How the bloody hell are you?" No, we just started having a chat and a chin wag. And he says, I said to him, I said, "Guy, you know, I have to say, like, you got me a bit puzzled. That video, like, you didn't comment or like or anything on that video. So I didn't even know you'd seen it." And he said, "Oh, yeah," he said, "I actually watched it twice. And I also shared it with some people as well, because I thought it was so valuable. And I've got some people in my network that are struggling a little bit. And I think it's because of the people they're hanging around with. And that video was really powerful. So I wanted to share it with them." And I went back from that conversation and thought, holy fucker-doodles. Well, if he's seen it and I didn't know that he'd taken that action, how many other people have also taken that action that I don't know about? And I mean, it must be true, because whenever I go anywhere, people ask me, I mean, there are people that I don't even know who ask me, "How's life on the boat? How's Bonnie, your dog? Like, you know, how's Greg?" They ask me questions and I don't even know that person in depth. And so you're definitely, you know, making way more of an impact. You're definitely making way more of a ripple effect than you maybe know. I'd love to know, actually, like, what is the ripple effect that you're wanting to make? Like, how many impacts do you want to have made over the next 12 months? That would be really exciting to find out. Lubna, I know that you've put your impact number into the Brand Builders Club group. Why don't you share your impact number here? You know, even if it's an impact number of, you know, I want 100. I want to make an impact on 100 people over the next 12 months. What I want you to do is think about, when you work with those 100 people, how many other people are affected by that? So Carl, for example, with you, I mean, you impact on thousands of people every year. But let's say 1,000 people, let's say your number is 1,000. I really want to impact on another 1,000 people by the end of this year. Well, that'll be firsthand. Well, let's say you train people to become hypnotherapists, right? That's part of your company, trains other people how to do what you do. So if you train 1,000 people to do what you do, and they go out and train 1,000 people, you've got an exponential number. I'm terrible at maths. So could somebody, hi, Victoria. Wow, 12 million. Love it, Victoria. I love a good juicy number like that. Carl, how many people would that be? So you train 1,000 people and they go and impact on 1,000 people. What is that number? I'm so bad at maths. Somebody please work that out for me. Take the maths pressure off of me. And Lubna, 10 million. But again, like, if you really think, if you break that impact down, so 10 million, Lubna, you're aiming for 10 million. Well, if you were to work with 10 influencers who were on a mission to positively impact 1 million people each, you'd only have to work with 10 people and you've hit your 10 million. So I think, Lubna, you need to add a 0. It's the same for you, Victoria. Like, whatever your number is, let's make sure that you achieve that. Let's hit that target. Let's reach those impacts in the biggest possible way. And I think the fastest possible way to do that is through the power of partnerships and collaborations. Now, I see backstage we have a lovely young lady from North Carolina. I can see her smiling face is filling the little thumbnail backstage. Who's ready to meet the laughter liberator? Who's up for a little bit of laughter as we go through this call? Now, remember that one drop philosophy. Remember that you are that one drop. You are that ripple maker in an entire ocean of so many possibilities. Carl says, but my YouTube channel reaches so many every day. Exactly. So if you think about your impact, think about the first-hand impact. What does the second-hand impact? The ripple, right? Think about the ripple. Carl, you might already be reaching 10 million easily in a year just because of the impacts and the ripples you're making. I would encourage you to add a 0 to your impact number. This is for each of you. Add a 0. See what that comes out at. Put it in the comments with this chat. I'd love to see what your impact number is. And while you do that, let's get on the lovely laughter liberator, Miss Brigitte Keane. Brigitte, hello. Are you here?
Hello. Wanted to show my one drop.
Oh, you got your one drop. we're hugging virtually, drop to drop right now.
Yes, we are.
Brigitte, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Now, I know that the reason you were late was because you were delivering your Laughtathon. Tell us about your Laughtathon. I mean, I'm dying to get into it.
My Laughtathon is actually 21 days of laughter, 3 times a day, 5 minutes each. And the idea is that in 3 weeks, we can form a habit, and laughter will be so second nature to you because, laughter, we're born with laughter.
Yeah.
And laughter is not, I mean, a lot of us think maybe laughter is something silly or something, but really laughter is a coping mechanism. In this time, whatever, we can, if we laugh at something, then it has lost its power over us. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just have to look at you. I like, seriously, for those people that were at the Brand Builders Club members weekend a few weeks ago, one of the things we were working on, well, the main thing we were working on was how you could pitch your product. So creating a product and then pitching it. And Brigitte came onto the screen and delivered her pitch to all the members of the Brand Builders Club all over the world. And everyone was just in so many fits of hysterics by the end of Brigitte's pitch. They were all like, give us the link to this Laughtathon. Like, how do we get involved? I mean, it was just really powerful. And what I loved about it was the results that you were talking about with laughter. I mean, obviously, we know laughter makes us feel good. But what are some of the other things that, like the physical benefits, like, give us some like hardcore facts, Brigitte, about what does it physically do chemically to my body if I burst out laughing for even like 30 seconds?
First of all, we cannot be stressed, so our body immediately relaxes. And the other thing that we really, really, especially at this time, need to know is that every time we laugh, we boost our immune system. Now, a fact is, one negative thought depresses our immune system for 1 minute. But laughter boosts our immune system for up to 24 hours. So that is a total non-brainer, right? And we get more with laughter. We get more oxygen into our brain. Our blood pressure comes down, and our whole body just relaxes instead of being stressed. And with us being relaxed, we can actually be more creative. Right? We can think because our right and our left side of the brain get together, and we see that we have options. And what are these options? And we can play. Like, remember, I believe that every child is born laughing. Because guess what? What do we want to see of this baby? We want to see the baby laughing, right? And we forget everything else. Whatever happened, how difficult it was, whatever, we just have to laugh with this baby. And then the child grows up and they laugh and laugh and laugh. And how many times do you think a small child, laughs a day?
It's got to be hundreds.
Yes, it is. It's 300 and more times a day.
300 more. Wow.
Times a day. And what do you think? How often do we laugh?
Ooh.
I
don't know.
Once a month.
so under so under 10 times a day, right? And this includes under 10 times a day.
Wow.
So what happened? Where did we lose it? And because we are just, this is not even average, because you are laughing more than somebody else does. So somebody else is laughing.
Connie, back off.
And I literally had this experience in India. So I was at a college and I was, just doing some programs. And then afterwards, when we were in the faculty and just lounge and just going over it, this one professor, he was a professor of geology. He said in front of all his colleagues, he said, this is the first time that I was laughing in 10 years. And I didn't know, should I be happy about that he finally laughs? Or should I feel really, really sad for him because 10 years without laughter?
Well, I mean, there must be some, like, from what you've said, if did you say 1 minute of laughter boosts the immune system for 24 hours?
Yes.
So you are doing 5 minutes of laughter 3 times a day. So you're doing 15 minutes of laughter on your laughter-thon. 15 minutes of laughter. Well, isn't there some facts about laughing and sit-ups? So if you're doing 5 minutes of laughter, then you must also be like toning your tummy at the same time, and boosting your immune system.
So if you laugh for 10 minutes, it's as much as half an hour of exercise, any aerobic exercise. So,
so for somebody who hasn't laughed for 10 years, what must their physiological imprint of their DNA be like? I mean, it must be diseased. Surely.
Well, you could say that because I think if you don't laugh, then you have to be very, very stringent and very, I mean, that it's not really life. I think it makes us human to laugh. And you know what? If we can laugh at ourselves. For example, I tell you what just happened, because I was supposed to do this presentation in a special Facebook group. Well, I just did it on my main Facebook group.
So you forgot to do it in your actual laughter-thon?
Yes. And my Facebook group, and I have so many people commenting, including my dog.
So, well, I suppose that's it's all good publicity.
Well, it works out, because you know what? I am not perfect. And when I see somebody else who's not perfect, then that makes me feel good, because look, Sammy, it would be so boring if we all were perfect, wouldn't it?
It would, absolutely. I mean, Lubna's quoted this beautifully: 1 minute of laughter boosts the immune system for 24 hours. I think that's amazing. Victoria says, oh, it's doubled since the 1990s. Well, I think laughter yoga is actually a thing now, isn't it? It's one of the things that you were specializing in.
Huge movement. It's in more than 60 countries, and it has over thousands and thousands and thousands of members. Laughter yoga actually started in 1995 with 5 people in India.
And what is it actually like? You do yoga poses and laugh as you do it? Like,
well, you don't really do the yoga poses. That's what people don't understand. But you do the breathing, because breathing is important. We live because we breathe, and so we need air. So laughter actually forces us to breathe.
Mm.
And if we laugh, for example, ha ha, hee hee, ho ho, hoo hoo, we're using different parts of our body, right? And so we're breathing. And Dr. Kataria, who invented this, he was a Indian doctor. His wife was a yoga teacher, and so she said, let's do this a holistic exercise. And so this is where laughter yoga started. And so we have breathing exercises, which I have been a student of Dr. Kataria's for many, many years. And that's exactly the same thing. What I do when we do laughter exercises, because guys, we need to breathe, because if we stop breathing, we're dead. So let's get oxygen into our brains. Let's just connect, and let's be playful. Let's take these little children as our teachers.
Yeah.
What happened when
the inner child? Like, we've got our inner gigglers inside.
That's right.
They're just waiting.
Because we were that child. Therefore, I am telling everybody knows to laugh. Maybe it's a little bit moldy. Maybe we have to look for it. Maybe it's, we can find it immediately, but it's there because we all were there. And this is our inner child that wants to come out and play. And we have been telling this no, not now. I have something more serious to do. But no, we don't have more serious things to do than to tell our little child, come on, play.
So are there different types of laughter then? As you're going through this 21-day Laugh-a-thon challenge, are there different techniques to the laughter, or is it just like 3 times a day you just laugh hysterically? Like,
well, no, there is lots of different ways. You can, for example, giggle, or you can be like, try not to laugh and just hold it till you eventually laugh.
Oh God, I did that. Well, actually, I can't. I have this inability to not laugh. Like, there was even just thinking about it. Lubna remembers this. Last year, I was delivering a challenge last January. You can actually find this video in the How to Build a Brand Facebook group. So there I am. I'm in Florida, and in the middle of delivering a challenge. So I'm at the end of this table, and I'm sat there at the end of this table, hidden myself in the corner so that anybody else can kind of walk around. Anyway, everyone else had gone out for the day. I think we were running a big event out in Fort Lauderdale, and it was like the day before or the day after, something like that. So there's only Greg and I there, and Greg's wandering around and he's just picking stuff up at the end of the table. And I was interviewing John Paul Byrne at the time, just like we are now. But there I am, I'm on my phone. So I've got my phone in the little holder, and there I am, I'm chatting away, and then I asked John Paul a question. And so there's the 2 of us on screen. I asked John Paul this question, he answers the question, and as he's talking, I'm going through and I'm just like pressing like, and I'm commenting and things like that while he's talking. Well, what I didn't realize was that you could, whilst being on a Facebook Live, I didn't know that you could turn your camera around. I didn't realize that if you press the button, you can turn your camera around. So my husband was at the end of the table, rooting through something at the end of the table, and he was hardly wearing anything. He was pretty much naked. And so I'm there, and I'm looking at my phone, and suddenly I've got my husband on one side of the screen, and I've got John Paul Byrne on the other side of the screen, and I'm looking, thinking, I shouldn't be seeing that. Fuck! I pressed the button by accident, didn't even know I could do it. So all you see is like the white wall where I grab my phone and I'm like trying to work out how the hell do I turn this around. Well, I get the phone back, and there's all these people, they're commenting saying, who was the naked man at the end of the screen? I couldn't hold it together. I was trying so hard not to laugh, and I tried to keep it in. Well, the more I tried to keep it in, the more I looked like I was going to internally combust. And you just wish, when you watch this interview back, I think it was day 9. of the 10-day challenge. If you go into the How to Build a Brand group and type in day 9 John Paul Byrne, you'll find this video. It's about 25 minutes into the video. Well, for the next 3 to 5 minutes, I think all you can see is my face doing all kinds of stuff. Like, it was contorting into different shapes. Like, I went a different color. I had tears streaming down my face. I'm like this, trying to hold it in. And in the end, like, I needed to laugh so badly that I had to just go off screen and go, just let it out, and then come back onto screen again and just carry on as normal. I mean, God, it was so funny. But when I tried to stop it, I couldn't stop it. So that's a really good example of, like, you know, just think of something and really try as hard as you can not to laugh, because you just can't help it. As soon as you're not allowed to, it makes it worse, doesn't it?
Yes, you know, it does. And actually, you know, laughter has, and this is why I want people to be on this laughter song, because there's so many benefits about laughter. But one of it is that it also takes pain away.
Yeah.
So I was sitting once in a doctor's office, and they were trying to take blood from me, and he couldn't find that. Right? And so if you know how it feels when they're sticking these needles in you, this has been going on for 45 minutes. It's been so painful. And we were all like it. And then I remembered, oh, laughter takes pain away. And I started laughing.
I bet they thought you were mad as a box of frogs, didn't they?
And the doctor first, he looked at me like, but then he started laughing too. And you know what? The minute that happened, he could find my blood was flowing. And when we were leaving, the piece, what was so funny in it? Didn't you just go in to get your blood done? So, you know, there is Norman Cousins. He wrote a book, Anatomy of an Illness. And he had he had a fatal disease. And he asked his doctor, who was his friend, said, well, you know, if I would just go and rent a room, and if I would just laugh, if I would just get funny movies and stuff, and if I would just laugh, would you still supervise me? And he said, yes. And you know what? This is Ivan Illich. And he was, I don't know if he's still alive now, but he healed himself completely with laughter.
Wow.
So, and a lot of people, actually, I just had the other day, somebody tell me how laughter saved her life. So everybody can laugh. Everybody can laugh, and laughter is so healing. In fact, laughter is one of the most healing things that we have. And that's what I try to tell people. We are born with something to counteract our stress, to counteract our situation. And we don't have to run out. We don't need special equipment. We don't need to spend a lot of money. We don't need to go someplace. We can be right here. We can laugh. I mean, how amazing is this? And that's what I would like to do, you know. And one of my dreams in this time is now to spread laughter all over the world and to cause a pandemic of laughter. Because at a time like this, we do need to laugh, because laughing just heals us. We can get rid of burden. And I am convinced that anybody who laughs together connects together. And the connection is never the same.
Yeah.
So anybody needs it, and it has changed my life. I used to be, I would say, pretty depressed, and in fact, I had 3 kids, and I could not even lift a toy from the floor at one point. I just didn't see how I could ever get out of, the situation. But then I heard about laughter yoga, and I studied laughter. And I want to tell you something else. I mean, that people. So I am a pastor, and I was had a congregation, and one of the members of my congregation, who was Indian, came out and said, Pastor, I want to tell you, my mother is a completely different person. And I said, oh, tell me more. And then she told me about this laugh thing. And then she said, well, could we do it at our church too? So for quite a while, every Sunday after service, we stood outside front of the church in a circle, and we did laughter exercises. And guess what? Even people who I call sourpusses, people you cannot get to do anything, and people were, you know what? They participated. So, I am so sorry that I got a little bit late, but to tell you, I am not against jokes, comedy, and humor. Not at all. Laugh whenever you get a chance to, but you can laugh whenever you feel like it, because your body does not know the difference. And you get all the feel-good hormones, like the oxytocin, that helps us to have a baby, mothers having babies, with breastfeeding, and it just, and endorphins, they are showered liberally in our system. So,
So Brigitte, do you think we could have, I don't know, 30 seconds of laughter? Who's up for a good old bit of a laughter-thon in today's confession today? Should we do 30 seconds? Let's do 30 seconds. Go on, kick us off, Brigitte.
Okay, there we go.
It's impossible not to laugh at you. You're such an effective figure. I can already feel my tummy muscles going.
So you tell us when it's stopping.
Oh my word.
I have signs that I do to help people to make sure to stop, because we don't want to laugh forever without breathing.
Yeah, who can resist that? No one can resist that. I've said Brigitte needs to create a ringtone so that every single time you set alarms and just literally laugh for a minute or something like that. I think that'd be so good.
Well, actually, you know what? Tom once said he actually gave me a present of a ringtone when we were in Manchester the other day. And I think, you know what? It's genius, because first of all, yes, every time I hear it ringing, I have to laugh. But the person who is on the line receives our good vibes, because that's just another thing. We are raising the vibration, okay? Yeah. But we always want to be in a really good mood when we talk to our customers, to our clients, to our friends. And a ringtone does that. So, it really
is. You can totally hear that. If you speak to somebody on the phone, even if you can't see them, you can hear. It's almost like you can tell whether they're smiling when they talk. Right?
Exactly. And because it's the smile. I say, what is the shortest smile? A smile. With a smile, you don't even have to go anywhere, because you're just sitting there and you have that smile, and that goes as far as, it is like, I mean, it's amazing, because would you rather talk to somebody who's smiling, or would you like to talk to somebody who, who doesn't even want to talk to you, who's like, what are you talking about? So
You've got a neighbour like that about 3 boats down. I said this morning, I was out walking the dogs, and I said, "Good morning," and she went, "Morning." I said, "Isn't it a beautiful day?" She said, "Yes, I hope it will be." And I was like, "It already is a beautiful day."
and this goes along with the laughter lifestyle, because the laughter lifestyle is so much more than just laughing. It is, yes, appreciating things, being grateful, living in forgiveness, living a life of liberation, a fun thing. I call myself a joy partner. I am your joy partner who creates you with a fun and creative solution to reconnect with yourself. That's what the essence of what I am bringing to everybody is.
Brigitte, I think you're just amazing. You're absolutely amazing. I love your mission. I love the vision that you have for where you want to take it, and I love your laughter-thon. Guys and girls, I've just copied this from an invite that Brigitte put out on her own Facebook page yesterday. You are invited to join the 21-day laughter-thon. So you could be a founding member of this laughter liberation movement, and signing up is easy. As you can see there, it's a bit.ly link /21-day laughter-thon. Now you do have to put the characters need to be exactly, so all the uppercase letters, you need to make sure that it's exactly as it is. Maybe Lubna, maybe you could type it out and put it in the comments. That'd be really helpful to pop that there. But yeah, for $21, I mean, this is going to a brilliant cause, creating a laughter pandemic around the world. And boy, oh boy, do we need that more than ever right now.
I think so. And we just started today, and have some humor, because now I have to figure out the one that I just posted on my Facebook group. I am learning to be more friends with technology.
See, you need my mantra. I love technology, and technology loves me. It always seems to work somehow.
And I want to leave with say one more thing, is that actually there is perfection in the imperfection.
Oh, there totally is. Perfection is poverty, and it's paralysis. You've just got to do it. Just get it done.
And the real perfection is that in your imperfection, you are really perfect, and you're charming, and this is what makes us like you. It's that's just it's just it. And if I make a mistake, if you make a mistake, I am glad, because I am not the only one to make a mistake.
You are definitely not the only one to make a mistake, Brigitte. What you've just done, I've done many times. So it's just, just get it right. You get it right by repetition. By doing it more often. The more you do it, the easier it's going to become.
That's right, and that's also my challenge with the Laugh-a-thon. We are learning together. I want input, and how could we make this be better, and what would be a different platform to be on. Right now, I am on Facebook Live, and we do that because we don't have a lot of time, but we have enough time to get to get a sampling of this, and then we can ask questions, and I'd be delighted to answer questions. I could talk to you for 2 weeks.
You could talk for a long time on laughter. What I love is that your 3 sessions you're doing every day on the laughter-thon, you're doing some laughter, but then you're also giving a key scientific fact or a physiological fact about what that has just done for your body. So I think that's really powerful. This is learning the laughter lifestyle, isn't it? This isn't just
Yes,
laughing for a minute or whatever.
because we learn best when we're having fun.
Yeah. And you think of all the money that people spend on vitamins and minerals. I mean, you couldn't even get vitamin C for love nor money at our local store.
Exactly.
But what you're telling me is I could have just laughed for 1 minute and I would have protected my immune system for 24 hours anyway.
Yes. Just realize that. I mean, I don't know if we're laughing for for 5 or 10 minutes, if that's cumulative and how many hours it makes, but we can laugh every day, and this is keeping your immune system intact. And I can also tell you that when we, for example, when we do this and when we clap, we have all these acupressure points from our whole body in our hand. And when we do this with our hand, our fingertips, that's where our brain is located, right, for acupressure. So anything that we do has some real significance. And so our body is totally, it's so amazing.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, we need to recover it, and in connection with all the things that everybody here is doing. I mean, it's like, what else can be done than raising vibration a little bit more?
Yeah.
And please, if I can help with anybody, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you know how to get in touch.
So, well, if you look for, let me just get Brigitte's name back on the screen so that you can go and look her up. So if you go onto Facebook, type her name in, Brigitte, spelt Brig. So Brigitte Keane. So if you type that into Facebook, you can go and follow Brigitte and do connect it. Like, it costs less than to go and buy some of the vitamins and minerals that you buy. So if you go, just divert some of your hard-earned cash, I know, but $21 for 21 days, you're going to boost your immune system. You're going to reverse some of the things that are going on in your body. You might not even know that was happening, but chemically, you could give your body a complete overhaul and do some really good stuff for yourself. Brigitte, we've run out of time for today. We've come to the end of the show. I'm so pleased that you made it. We got 30 minutes with you. This is very awesome. I mean, we did some good learning stuff before you showed up. Brigitte, is there anything you want to leave anybody watching this show with before we go?
Let's just help me to spread laughter and to rediscover the really importance of laughter and the wisdom of our bodies that we have, because yes, we can do so many things for our immune system by just laughing and having a good time.
We can. And let's do more of that. There's not enough of that in business, and especially, or in life even, but especially right now when there's some fear that's showing up, there's some anxiety, stress.
Exactly.
You can just get rid of it. Get rid of it. In a period of time. You can't be stressed while you're laughing, so you say.
Exactly. And I am not saying when you're in the middle of a funeral to just burst out laughing. No, right. That's not, I mean, it has to be appropriate, but then there are ways for you how you can laugh in private, or you can, whatever you need to do. And if you need some help, hey, let me know, because we need more people. We need more people who do this.
Yeah. Well, you're looking for liberators as well, aren't you, to help you with the movement so that they can go and spread this as well?
Yes. I mean, that will, the world is our oyster. The world is our playground. We are related. We have brothers and sisters all over this world.
We do.
And remember that you are important in this world because you have unique gifts that nobody else has. And so you matter. And when you get despaired again, just think about it. Just think who you are. You're an amazing, amazing, amazing person. I celebrate you. I celebrate you being here. I'm so happy I still got onto this program.
I'm so happy that you managed to get on, Brigitte. Yay, thank you. Well, tomorrow on the show, we have the amazing Joanna Howes. Jo has done some incredible work in thought leadership, personal development. She's got an amazing company, and I can't wait to bring Jo to you tomorrow. She's such a gift. I've got Sarah Cox I'm interviewing on Wednesday. Amazing. She's managing so much of the stuff we're doing, including getting One Movement out to the world. So I'm very excited about the work that Sarah's doing for us and the work that she's doing for a load of our brand builders. Lots of brand builders right now are now getting their message out online because of the work that Sarah's doing. So we've got Sarah on Wednesday, then we've got Ishreen Bradley on Thursday, and Sabrina's going to be here on Friday. Sabrina's one of our brand builders over in America as well. So we've got a good mix from all over the world. We've got a good global mix for our interviews this week. Brigitte, thank you so much for showing up for us.
Thank you.
And for those of you that have shown up today.
You know what, Sammy? Thank you for what you're doing for all of us too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You are very welcome. You make it so freaking easy for me to love what I do. I want to do more of it. So thank you guys and girls. Have an amazing evening. I very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And for those of you that are in the Brand Builders Club, I'm going to run the first of the Thinkubators for April tomorrow morning. So do look out for the Brand Builders Club message there. And hopefully I will see you there. We're focusing on product creation this month. It's all about product. So come and join us at the Thinkubator. If you're not in the Brand Builders Club, you can also join us. You can get a guest pass. So reach out to me and I will make sure that you get that. Take care. Have an amazing, amazing evening. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the group. Mwah. Thank you, Greta. Keep laughing.